Hey kids, if you're wondering where your weekly dose of poorly made Minecraft video is, I don't know what to tell you. I logged into my account on Wednesday and found out that Mojang did not have a Minecraft account associated with my email. I've since emailed them back calling shenanigans that, yeah, I kind of do have one. Here's my registration number and my receipt and blah, blah, blah. There's a 5-day turnaround for service calls right now. So if I'm lucky, I might get to play something this week. So instead, to satisfy my need to build stuff, I'm doing something I was going to be doing anyway. But this gave me an excuse to vent my frustrations, if nothing else. I've got a bunch of stuff I got to do for a D&D campaign, and it's going to give me the opportunity to get back into something I actually really enjoy, and that is building miniatures. I built models a lot as a kid, car models, truck models, things like that. And then in 95, I think, I got into Warhammer 40k. And that's way more fun because I get to do things like build this. Now, for those of you with a keen eye, you will realize that not only is this a model you can't buy, this is several different models all stuck together, and it's the reason I love playing orcs. But I haven't built anything in a long time. I think this year would be the last thing I built. This was built for a Pathfinder campaign I played with a friend of mine who unfortunately isn't around anymore. And I needed a character, a model, that, was my guy. I was playing an elf diviner. And then my other character was a cleric of Heronius. So I got to stand there and beat things up. And the one I'm doing now, I'm just getting ready to start this one. It's actually about the third time I've run it. And I need some nice, beefy-looking guardsmen. Now, I've used these guys. These are the parts I got laid out. So your stock Citadel Chaos Knight. They're good, but I want something that looks a little less, evil. They're supposed to be guardsmen. Take a bunch of these guys, shave the iconography off, use the cloaks without skulls. I like these a lot. They stand nice and tall. I get to compare this guy. I've never doing it in front of my camera before. We compare this guy to this guy. You can tell this guy most likely has far more hit points than this guy. And then this guy would have the most. And I really like the Chaos Knights. They're nice and beefy. They got a lot of detail on them. I'm not going to fanboy out and try to show for Games Workshop. As a lifelong Games Workshop customer, I have the barest glimmer of what it's like to be an abused spouse. There's those guys, and then I've got... bump that. I got a bunch of the Lord of the Rings, the Warriors of Minas Tirith. I bought a box of these guys when they were on fire sale from a store that was closing out. They're not bad. I like them. They look like, I like the dudes with the shields. Unfortunately, they require you to use these stupid pikes, and I'll have to cut these pikes off to give them regular-sized swords because... and I'll have to shave the iconography off too. There's not a lot, it's just the tree on the chests and the shields. The one problem I do have is that I haven't bought paints in quite a while. Like the last time I bought paints was the Hawk Turquoise on this guy's cloak. And, well, here's the problem. Chaos Black, Chaos Black. Yeah. The really embarrassing part? Bolt gun metal from 96. Still good. My first pot of mithril silver from 1995. Still fine. I left this out for a night one time, shortly after I bought it. Still good. GW, step your shit up. Yeah, so half the colors I want to use are kind of gone. Thankfully, these guys, the color scheme is just going to be a base of bits, 10 bits, heavy dry brush or bolt gun, light dry brush and mithril silver, touch-ups with brazen brass, and then whichever blue color I have left that hasn't gone to seed on me. I was hoping to use that hawk turquoise because I do like it. It's a nice color. But I'll have to get a bunch of them built first. My other problem is I haven't bought glue in a long time. This is my favorite glue. Oh my gosh. It still works. Wow. I've gone through so much of this. I can't get this in my town anymore. And because I'm a Luddite and don't like to shop on the internet, my stuff has to be bought locally. I went and grabbed a set of this. This is their non-toxic stuff. Doesn't stick for crap. Give me cancer. I don't care as long as my models stick together. So I'm going to sit here, fiddle fart around, get a few of these guys built together. This isn't going to be a very long one. I might show you a few of the details I add on. Mostly just to make sure that I make an effort at my one video a week thing. We'll see what happens. Well, we're a little while later. Quite a while, actually. We've got a whole bunch of these dudes. I'm still trying to figure out where the light is here. So what we've got is usually a squad. Got turn this a little bit. Anyway, I got 7 of these guys here with the swords. Way to go. 7 regular dudes. Now these guys are supposed to be kind of the shock troops, right? These little scrawny guys, the Lord of the Rings dudes, they're meant to be the beat cops. These are more the SWAT team sort of guys. The party does run into them occasionally. There's a couple of times where the party will have to deal with them. And then the last act of the campaign, they're kind of actively hostile for reasons I won't get into. So because of that, they're the kind of guys who bring along their own specialists. So if I go slide these dudes over here, got back like that. So because they're, the kind of guys that have invested heavily in, and none of these guys have the shields yet because the shields are really just, they're just on the sprue. They got this little bit of the arm back there. You don't see any of it. Those I can spray bomb black, and then slap on when I'm done so I don't cover too many details. So we got a cleric, because you don't want these guys dying. We have a wizardy type, a battle mage. This is a high magic campaign. So there's going to be a few other things going on. And then a captain of the guard. Easy to tell, he's got a sword out. As the DM, I need to make sure that the players have an idea of what the threat level of things they're dealing with. So when you got, 7 of these guys, they're all, there's a horde of them, they're all the same. And they're just faceless baddies, right? And then the moment you throw in someone special, all of a sudden, well, that's someone interesting. We might have to deal with that guy. So this dude's going to be a cleric, a wizard. Here's our commander. I didn't want him to have the same kind of helmets as the rest. Like, you notice they all really do look a lot the same. But then that's the point behind SWAT troops. You can't tell them apart. I want this guy to be a bit more interesting. He's got get in here. he's got the helmet. Instead of having one of these regular Chaos Knight helmets like that, he's got a helmet off of, I think it's the Command Sprue for the Bretonnian Knights. Here we are, yeah. Again, fire sale. I got I bought like $500 worth of stuff from $2.50. The store was going out of business. They didn't care. It was actually a really nice store. It was owned by a really nice old couple, and it had started out selling pool tables and hot tubs and stuff, and they got a little section for games. And what happened is that she won a cruise, and they realized the two of them were both in their 60s. Let's pack it in. I only known about the place for maybe 6 months. It's unfortunate. I would have spent a lot more money there over a longer period of time if I'd known. Now, these guys, let's set them aside for a minute, because they're all pretty easy to specialize. Let's see, these guys here, we've got 2 body types. The helmets all look the same, the swords all look the same. There's a couple of them still have the skulls on the backs of the cloaks, because having to carve those off was a pain in the ass. Now, these are city guardsmen, so they need to look like they belong in the city. And to that end, we're going to throw on a few bits and bobs here. Get that aside. We're going to dip into our some of our bits. As an orc player, I have a giant pile of bits. Those are mostly, what's in here? It's a bunch of shoulder pads. I use those. Got a whole bunch of, you can see some of them in there. Probably not. Can't get the light in. A whole bunch of guardsman stuff. Space Marine satchels. These guys still have to, participate in what goes on in the city. So they need to look the part. I've got a handful of things here. I'm going to dig a few more out of there. These are daggers off of the Wood Elf box. Yeah, the Wood Elf box. I bought them because, not because I'm playing Wood Elves. I don't play fantasy, but I buy fantasy boxes for large amounts of singular type units for D&D. If you want a horde of orcs, yeah, you could spend $5 a pop, maybe more, on a Reaper miniatures orc. Yeah, it'll look great. Or $40 on a pile of 20. And you have a whole bunch of other stuff. You can kit them out as you want, kind of thing. Games Workshop might be expensive, but at least when it comes in terms to buying bulk miniatures, I still think they're one of the better deals. So each of these guys is going to get some bits and bobs. It's going to take me a while to figure out what, because I need to make sure that I don't ever give the same body type of guy the same outfitting. So we've got, let's see, the only way I can really tell these guys apart is that one has there's a skull I had to trim off of that. These guys had one off the chest, but there's a spike on this armory thing that I've forgotten the name to. I just need to make sure that they don't ever get the same kind of stuff. And I have one more of these guys than the other because I went with 7. Yeah, like that. So each of these guys is going to get different stuff. I'll figure out what. I'll kit these guys out. And then hopefully I should be at a point where I can actually start painting something. Okay, a bunch of them got their own little bits and bobs. I keep forgetting the lights right there. Little pouches. Things. Stuff. Just minor details. One thing I did remember is that because I said this is a kind of a high magic campaign, I can do stuff like outfit my guys with should be able to see that right there. That's not a grenade, that's a thunderstone. And those? No. Those aren't your standard issue Impy Guard grenades. Those are health potions. So are... Get out of the way. Yeah, we went over there. A wizard dude. Didn't go out looking quite as wizardy as I wanted him to. You got him, got a Crozius Arcanum there. Down the middle looks like some scroll pouches. A couple of purity seals for rewards. Got a staff. This isn't really on very well because I don't have anything to pin it with. And two details here and there. And he's definitely, you can really tell the difference between him and a guardsman. Right? There's, it's, right here. Holding the cap in my teeth because I love cancer. Just stick that in there temporarily. And now you can really tell him from a guardsman. And then our cleric guy. This took a bit of work. So, this, I'm pretty sure that's off of a Crute. Don't ask me where, though. So we've gone from some nasty glue going on there. That's the regular kind of armband there. And that's a hand up a Chaos Marine. He's got that kind of do you feel lucky punk looking going on. And again, completely different. You can tell. Different profile. Anything else on him? Little holy symbol kicking around. And then our boss man. This is only gummed on slightly temporarily. We gave him potion and some rope. Some more potions. That's really only in there by just the barest bit of glue. And I think his silhouette would be really obvious if he's not a grunt guardsman. I was gonna sit down and paint all this stuff. I don't know where any of my brushes are. Spent 20 minutes looking for them. Don't have them. Not that it matters. We gotta go visit the LGS for more vulcanized rubber. Do that tomorrow. I got a day off. If you lasted this far, this is not, as I had no plan for this to be a series. This was just something to fill in. There's no games I really want to play right now, unfortunately, at least by myself. If you didn't like this, tell me. If you didn't like it, let me know. I would not be adverse to branching out to something like this in the future. Let me try to find something else. Because yeah, like I haven't waved a knife or a brush in anger in a couple years. Wouldn't mind getting back into it. I don't really, but I'm not really playing 40k right now. I got a lot of miniatures I'd love to build. I intend to customize a tar out of them when I get to them. And just to give you an idea, if I look up on my shelf up there, I have 2 battle wagons still in the box. I've got like a milk crate worth of boys on sprues. I have 2 Bane blades. 2. One of which I bought. Another I got as a payment. I did a buddy's army. He wanted 1,000 sons. Guy couldn't paint, and he was worried his army would all come all kind of bland. I did it for him, and he gave me a Bane blade. I had a lot of fun building everything. He gave me that. And now I got to find something to do with it that makes it worthwhile. Back when I was making oil money, I bought a lot of stuff. Someday, I'll put it all together. Someday. Probably not on camera, but we'll see. Now I got to edit this together. I have never done anything with this video camera before. If I'm lucky, I can stitch this into something good. I will see you later.